Yo, 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 yo. It's your boy Leroy. Got my guy Zach and Trev with me here
What's up?
today.
What's up?
Hope everybody's having a great weekend so far, man. How y'all boys doing tonight?
Good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, chilling, man, chilling. Also, before we kick off, want to give a big shout out to our co-host Damon Diaz. He had his firstborn son just in the last couple days. Healthy birth, wife's healthy, family's healthy, doing good. So shout out Damon. We're happy for you, bro.
Heck yeah, bro. Fatherhood's awesome, Damon. You'll enjoy it, man.
Shout out to the guy. Shout out to the guy, Damon. But yeah, man. Appreciate everybody who's coming in. Got it live up on Facebook right now from the page. We are active on YouTube as well, so please go check us out there if you would like to. But I'll be pulling up comments from Facebook if I see them there. But appreciate everybody for working with us coming in. What up, Jordan?
What up,
Kibby? Appreciate you
Jordan?
coming in. Appreciate you.
Welcome, bro.
But as everybody knows, free agency is starting on Monday. Well, actually not starting officially, but the legal tampering period will be opening up so everybody can, kind of talk to free agents and see what everybody's looking for and what they can actually do, who they can sign with their teams. But nothing will be official until that following Tuesday at, I believe, 4 p.m. Eastern time. So, just with that going on, everybody should know that the Colts have released defensive tackle Raekwon Davis. Joe Flacco is a free agent as well. And then we also have some other free agents such as Braden Smith, who we do not know for sure is coming back or not. And then we also have Ryan Kelly, who looks like Ballard is trying to talk to and see if we will renew him to come back or not. But as far as it goes, man, that's the biggest names that we got out there. Any thoughts on that, fellas?
Yeah, just as far as the offensive line goes with Smith and Kelly, we had just started to talk about this before the show. Figured we'd go live before we get too deep into it. But between Smith and Kelly, man, I'd love to keep Smith. Obviously, he's had his injury issues. It gets frustrating. But the fact of the matter is, when the dude's on the field, he's one of the best right tackles in the league. So to me, a position of that importance, a guy that's good at that position, I want to keep around for at least another couple years. But Ryan Kelly, he's been great for us for a long time, one of the top centers in the league. But I just think it's hit that point where the value that he's worth and the money that we'd have to pay him to keep him is no longer worth what his output on the field is. So to me personally, I'd let Ryan Kelly walk with a thank you for your time and best of luck in the future. But I don't want to pay that guy what he's probably asking for at this point.
Thank you for your services, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah. See you later, brother. Good luck.
Completely agree. I just think he's gonna outprice himself for his play. I mean, I think Ballard made the quote a couple years ago: "Free agency is playing. We're not going to play A+ money for B+ players." And I think that Ryan Kelly is borderline a B+ player anymore with the injuries. When healthy, he's a solid center.
He's a great player. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're gonna get 4 or 5 games, that he's either playing hurt or he's not the best out of a 16-game season, and those games matter.
Yeah.
On top of that, Bortolini's behind him, and Bortolini balled out when given the opportunity. So,
and fact of the matter too is the man's going on 32. He's going into his 10th season. Now, I understand some centers can play for longer than most positions, so it's not like he's necessarily at the end of the road. But do you really want to pay a guy,
no,
12, 13, 14 million dollars at that age with that level of, wear and tear to keep doing it when you have a guy like Bortolini behind him? That's I'm on the same boat with you.
I mean, go ahead, DeMarco.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man, I've honestly just kind of jumped off the wagon with a lot of the stuff that Kelly usually has going on. Will kind of act like a big time leader, and then there's just kind of stuff that just lingers on in the locker room. Like it's never feel like the issue is being pressed when it comes to whatever we got going on there. But then it'll be stated out to the media as if something is some big issue. So me personally, man, I think Ryan Kelly's a great player, man. I really do. I think he's a good center. Top 10, top 5 in the league, possibly when healthy and when he's playing his game. But I just think with the age getting up there, and then like I said, for those leadership things that we do have, I I would much rather just move on, go younger with Bordolini, who showed he can play. Obviously, he has to you don't want it to completely suffer if he doesn't, make that jump to year 2. But that it would be the right move, showing what Bordolini has done, and just kind of get younger, because we look at where we sit inside of the cap space with a rookie quarterback, and then us not being able to reach goals that we clearly should have been able to reach a long time ago. I think it'd be best to just, take that time to get young.
I think too, just kind of last point on the whole Kelly thing is that when you look at a guy like Bordolini, freak athlete, able to pull really quickly, able to move really quickly, I think that as long as he can develop to the player that we think he's able to be, will be very beneficial to Anthony Richardson. Whereas Ryan Kelly's, even if he's not at the end of the road, I think his best days are probably behind him at this point, at least athletically. So I think just having the best athletes available on that offensive line that are more mobile guys, that's going to be a very beneficial thing for AR with the way he plays. So, yeah, I'm fully leaning that way.
On top of that, this is how I see it. If you pay Ryan Kelly, you're essentially losing depth elsewhere along that offensive line. So,
needs,
you can bring back Pinter on a cheap deal because he's a free agent also, and Wesley French, who I know played like one game, but, he wasn't terrible either, and he has position flexibility also. French and Pinter being free agents.
I'm cool with losing French and picking up a vet swing.
Oh, me too, 100%. But I just look at it like, if that's how, Ballard wants to operate, where he only re-signs his guys, first and foremost, I would much rather sacrifice Kelly than turn around and lose 2 depth pieces to another team, and then, hey, we're hurt and we got to rely on 35-year-old Ryan Kelly versus 28 and 26-year-old Wesley French.
Totally fair. Yo, what up, Chad? Appreciate you coming in. Jordan is jumping into some free agent topics here. Basically saying he commented on our Facebook page, but he'd be satisfied if we go and sign Javon Holland. If we were to make that move, I'd be more than satisfied. I got kind of like a dream wish list of free agents that I'd love to see us go after, which are mostly defensive, but I think it'd be something that I'd love to see us do.
Yeah, Holland would be a great pickup too, man. I mean, only 25 years old. You've seen him flash out before for Miami, have really good moments. I think he could fit with what we want to do. I'd love to get a guy like that, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Holland.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad. He's in free agency. He's the best safety available. I mean, that they have out. Yeah, Javon Holland is the highest ranked available safety that I have seen.
Up there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad. I don't know, is he in the box safety or is he an actual like
he can play in space.
Nice.
Yeah.
He'd
be a guy that would immediately upgrade our secondary.
100%.
Jordan also added there, it'd be hard to sign Killer when Bordolini has played so well in his absence. I thought he did good for a couple games, and then you could clearly see that the
rookie,
he hit that wall, and kind of just being young and stuff like that. So I think he could definitely get better. Jordan also saying, outside of Holland, I'd love a free agent target. Love a free agent we target on offensive needs, then get our other defensive needs through the draft.
I think you can do both, man.
I personally, I only have one, maybe two needs offensively, whether that be through free agency or the draft, personally. And that's literally just a veteran tight end, and a potentially a vet running back, who could be somebody that'd be cheaper. But again, those would still be two positions that I'd like to address in the draft as well. But I would literally almost put every piece of capital I got into defense, outside of maybe there's two receivers that I would love to see that we could possibly grab somewhere in the draft. Both have speed, which would be Anaya Smith from Georgia or Thompson from Tennessee. Both of those guys run 4.3. I would love to see that kind of speed
Especially with the deep crossers we have schemed up, dude.
Yeah, so those would be the only offensive needs. Outside of those, I mean, I really don't see much that I would want to think to grab or for us to use on offense.
Yeah, I kind of agree too. I think we have most of the personnel we need offensively. We just need these guys to develop. So I'm pretty happy with our wide receiver room. Obviously, we have Jonathan Taylor at running back. We need someone to back him up. And then we're rolling with Anthony Richardson. And the offensive line played well last year for the most part. So you plug and play kind of in those positions. You might bring a guy in for competition, whatever. But I think we mostly have those positional groups set. Tight end is clearly the biggest need. My problem with free agency is, I mean, looking through this list, there's one or two guys you might give a look to. But even then, these guys are super old. I don't know if you want to pay $4, $5, $6 million for them. I'm talking Zach Ertz, Austin Hooper. Mo Alley Cox is a highly rated guy for some reason, but we saw what he did. You know what I mean? Juwan Johnson, maybe that's a name you look at. Tyler Conklin.
That is a guy. That's my guy.
That's the only free agent and tight end wise I'd go for.
Yeah. I see Evan Ingram up there. I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to pay what I think he's going to ask for. You know, because he's listed as the highest. Evan Ingram. He's listed as the highest tight end in the list that I'm looking at, making $14 million. I'm not paying that guy 14 when he just
there are many. There's a split on the Ingram. A lot of Colts fans want him just because of the position of tight end, but some people that watch a bit more film break things down. They don't believe you can sign a guy like Ingram and him not take snaps from Josh Downs.
Yeah, he's a one-trick pony. He only goes deep or works the deep middle, and you have that in Josh Downs, exactly what DeMarco was saying. Like, Evan Ingram's literally only works the deep middle, quick outs, and a vertical route or a post route to occupy the safety. Like, that's what he ran in Jacksonville. That's when he was at his best. I look at that as you're going to sign him, you're literally taking money or you're taking reps away from Downs. The only tight end I want is that Johnson kid from
New Orleans.
From New Orleans, yeah. Johnson.
He's solid player. Yeah,
that's the other tight that I'm high on.
Yeah, the other tight end that I wanted, Mike Gesicki, he got re-signed by
today,
by Cincinnati.
I believe.
Yeah, or last week got re-signed by Cincinnati. Today. Was it today?
Yeah,
he was the only one I was looking at because I was like, yo, that's just a guy who handles the middle of the field, probably wouldn't cost a lot of money, and is pretty reliable. Like that's.
He cost a decent penny today. I think they paid him like $10 million.
Believe it or not, the only Juwan Johnson I'd be okay with for sure. The only real tight end free agent that I've looked at where I'm like, I would definitely sign that guy is Tommy Tremble out of Carolina. Listed as a free agent right now, 25 years old. He was great at Notre Dame. Obviously hasn't done shit at Carolina, but I'd give that guy a winger on a 1 or 2 year deal, something slight. He wouldn't be my number one guy, though. I'd definitely draft my number one guy.
Well,
but
the number one guy
bringing in.
The number one guy is going to get picked from Penn State. That's Tyler Warren.
That's my hope. Yeah, you know that's my hope.
That's the number one guy. Like in this year's draft, he's coming to Indy.
I'm glad you've joined the team here with me and DeMarco, bro.
I didn't know at the time, but yeah, the more I watched him, the more I really liked that kid. Like even with all the combine stuff,
throwing up right before our eyes, man.
The underwear Olympics, I just look at it like, yo, hey, if we're really trying to insulate and give AR the best situation, go get Warren. Don't play games.
That's the guy.
Jordan also says, would be the Jesse Bates for Lou Anarumo if we got
talking about Javon Holland.
Javon Holland.
Well, that's when that Bengals defense was elite, when he had a safety that like Jesse Bates. Yeah. So he
also didn't have corners that was just working at Amazon 2 weeks before.
Right. Facts. So you give him an actual free roam safety and some quality corners.
You've seen what they can do.
He might have a legit defense.
Chad is saying, do you think Lou gonna get an attempt to get Ballard to trade for Hendrickson?
He better.
This is a big topic right now.
I heard the saying somebody said before the other day, was talking about Lou coming over and how we really upgraded that defensive coordinator. But it's kind of like they said, it's like you pick up this defensive coordinator and he's in the kitchen and you don't let him cook because he ain't buying his own groceries.
Yeah.
Kind of like,
that's a good
analogy. Are you going to go after that guy I just the only reason I'm against it is just because of the fact that the way the Bengals keep trying to act like you're going to give up a second or a third round pick for a 30-year-old guy who wants $30 million. Like, look, man,
Unrealistic.
y'all going to shut the hell up. You're going to take this 6th round pick and you're going to take Kwity Paye. You're going to take Kwity Paye and you're going to shut the hell up and be happy about it. Like, I think that is more so what they're going to get. I don't see them getting some high top pick or something like that. But at least you could get Kwity Paye at $13 million. And then, you won't have to worry about because your defense ain't going to improve that much anyway with how much money you guys are forking over to everybody on offense. So just take that and move.
Here's the thing. Because I think the value, because this is what they're not going to tell you. I had to do this reading. I don't believe that the Bengals can really afford to ask a high price for Hendrickson because of the extension that he wants.
Exactly.
So, like,
along with his age.
Right. If the Colts trade for him, you already know Ballard's going to give him no more than a 3-year deal. In the first 2 years of that deal.
You can at 31.
Right. In the first 2 years of that deal is going to be guaranteed. It's going to be guaranteed money. And then so I look at it like you're willing to throw in a player like Kwity Paye. I look at it like the best. I wouldn't even throw in a player. The best I'm going to offer you is a 3rd or a 4th round pick and a conditional draft pick for the year after. And we'll get it done that way. And that's the best I'm going to offer you. So I'll come with you my best offer and put my best foot forward first and like a 3rd round pick or a 4th round pick. And then if that's not good enough, okay, I'll be nice. I'll throw in another 4th round pick with a condition to be a 2nd or a condition to be a 3rd because I turn around and got to play a player like Hendrickson probably every bit $18 million a year in the first 2 years of the contract. That's just how I look at it.
No, you paying around like 30 million, 40 million.
Either way, it's gonna be nuts.
But for 2 years, he's probably worth it. I don't. We saw what he did last year, the year before. I don't think he's ready to fall off a cliff or anything. But I agree with what he said about guarantee it early. That way, when that father time finally catches up, you can cut him. But the crazy thing is too, like with the way trades happen now for older players, I think you're right. They're asking for too much. But I also think, if I was the GM, I'd give it, bro. You tell me I could spend a 3rd round pick and get a player like Trey Hendrickson?
Yeah.
I'd do it.
Bro.
I'd do it in a heartbeat. I don't think they're going to get that, but I would do it.
See, my thing is because of the fact that you have to take on his cap hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you're going to also pay up. Then you think about considering his age. And I'm not trying to keep hinting at the age. The dude was just a fucking sack leader in the NFL. So I totally
that's a good point.
I totally get the value that he'll have. But my problem is you want to sit here and try and get a 2nd or a 3rd for a guy that we got to pay, and then we got to figure out everything for it. Like, nobody's going to do that. Otherwise, you would have already traded him.
But if he wants Max Crosby money, I'm not trading for him. Like my dad said, Hendricks wants Max Crosby money. That's sorry. His ass can waste away in Cincinnati for all I care because unless
crazy too, though.
Unless you're Max Crosby, I'm not paying that much money.
Well, he's got better numbers than Max Crosby.
But see, my thing is, he is Max Crosby, but he's older. That's my point.
Right.
Like,
I'm saying I can understand from the Trey Hendrickson camp and from his agent and from him why they would ask that kind of money because he does this shit. He does what every other DN says they do. He does this shit.
He is worth every penny of that.
Yeah, but I get it. Yeah,
if he's in his prime like Max Crosby, but he isn't. He's older, so
that's what I'm saying. Right. That's why when people kept trying to talk to me about it, bro. And I'm like, look, people say Max Crosby just got this, blah blah blah. I'm like, bro. Max Crosby got 35 because he's fucking 27.
Yeah, he's 27. He's got 4 years left of quality production.
When he renews at 31, he's not getting 35. He's getting,
But that's the thing. He can renew at 30 when he comes back to the table. Yeah, and guess what? He can still get a solid 24.
Yeah. But by the way, I'd pay 24 for Trey Hendrickson. I would do it for 2 years. 2 years, I'd do it.
If they took a 6th round pick in Kwity Paye, I would pay Trey Hendrickson $30 million. I would do it.
I just don't
because of the fact. Look, if you think about the $13 million that Kwity Paye would take off of our books, you're basically paying $17 million for Trey Hendrickson for that first year.
Yeah,
that's a fair deal.
That's why I would do it in that case. But don't sit here and give me an old player respectfully, Trey Hendrickson.
Right.
an old player, and try and tell me I got to give you a top pick and pay him, make him one of the highest played defensive ends. No,
Cincinnati has no leverage in this situation.
That's what I'm saying.
They're either going to lose him for nothing because he's not going to re-sign after next year, or he's going to get traded on draft night for either a deal that the Colts come up with. If the Colts are that interested, I personally don't believe Ballard will do anything because Ballard
he doesn't do anything.
Right, Ballard won't. He'll sit on his fingers, but he'll get traded, and I believe you could probably get Trey Henderson on draft night if you're that team for no less than a 4th round pick or no more than a 4th round pick. I truly believe like if they get more than a 4th round pick, if they got a 4th round pick and a player, Cincinnati got a deal because I just don't. I don't believe you literally have to do much to get him.
Look at Gregory Rousseau, who got drafted the same year as Kwity Paye, a pick later.
Yeah,
just got $20 million a year.
Yeah,
so it's like that's a deal for Cincinnati to not have to sit there and pay 4 players that are taking up almost their entire cap.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't want to get stuck with Trey Hendrickson as great of a player he is, as great as he is, as much as he wants to see Cincinnati succeed. There's no reason to sit here and try and drag it out. Like, get what you can and move on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way I see it, but I don't believe he'll be a Colt. As much as I would love to see Trey Hendrickson in the championship blue and white with the horseshoe on the side of his helmet, I don't believe that, he'll make that. I truly believe it'll be one of those things where, hey, New Orleans, comes up with a way to create cap space, and he goes home back to New Orleans where he got drafted and all that.
New Orleans they just fronted Derek Carr all his money this year to stay. He's making $40 million this year.
Did they really? They switched it all over to one gigantic cap. Man, everyone
for this year.
They're going in for a rebuild. So after this year,
they needed to do that. But just to kind of summarize the Trey Hendrickson ordeal, I think this is one of those trade rumors we get looped in where it feels a little bit more credible than a lot of the ones we get looped in because first of all, we all know Ballard is not a big trade guy. He's done it here and there in the past, but we all know his history, right? This one, because of the timing of it and because of the fact that we do have Lou Anarumo, I'll never get his last name right.
Anarumo
as our defensive coordinator. Like the timing of it all does make sense to me. The personnel and Trey possibly wanting to play for him again. So that's why this is one of those trade rumors. I'll say I halfway believe that we are involved in. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these, they throw the Colts in there because we always have cap space. And I'm like, man, we're not really in there. Ballard's not on the phone right now. But this one, I kind of believe.
This is credible. This is more credible than ones in the past. And if it does get done, and if it is Ballard and the Colts, cool beans. I'm not going to be mad.
As long as we don't get fleeced and pay an old guy.
I just hope we're not paying him like a 5-year, $84 million deal. And then I'm going to be like, what are we doing? No.
That would feel like Ballard trying to save his job.
You definitely want to pay him 5-year, $80 million. I would take that.
Front load it.
5-year, $80 million? That wouldn't even. That's like paying him nothing.
Either way, I don't want to pay him anything longer than a 2-year deal. Like just because
I get what you're saying.
Like 33, bro. Like,
but if we were paying 5 years,
$80
million,
$16 a year.
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
I would take that in a heartbeat.
I feel, especially at the market, like defensive end is one of the markets where you're paying guys.
Zach, I think you were thinking more like 5-year, like $140 million.
Right, something corny. I don't want to pay something corny.
No,
something stupid, bro. Like
you're thinking of old school contract.
Give me the hockey salary cap, where like your highest paid guys like $3.5 million.
12, yeah,
12 over 5.
Best player in the league, he's making $5 million.
Yeah, I'm not here for this whole $100 million contract stuff. Like, not a fan of that.
So Jordan has brought it up here, man. He said, Zach, I know you talked about it a long time ago, but it needs to be discussed more. Daniel Jones, it looks like, might be a thing we have to wrap our minds around.
Told y'all.
Fuck it. That's my thought on it. It doesn't bother me anyway. I don't really care. We've said on here before, we don't care who the QB2 is. I stand by that. I don't care who the QB2 is.
Well,
it's going to be someone. I don't care if it's Daniel Jones. I really don't.
Hate to burst everybody's bubble, but it's trending that Sam Darnold isn't returning to Minnesota. So Daniel Jones is going to stay in Minnesota. So
did that just come out?
There's that.
There's Aaron Rodgers. He's going to go and fulfill the prophecy and do what Brett Favre did.
No, Aaron Rodgers is going to the Giants.
Nah.
You think so?
Yeah, that's his only option.
Interesting.
There's a prophecy, man. He's going to go
There's
fill.
a prophecy.
There's a prophecy, bro. He's going to go fill the prophecy of Favre and go join Minnesota, do the exact same thing as Favre did.
Well, just to talk about Daniel Jones, though, I really I don't think it's the worst thing we can do. Obviously, the dude is not a franchise quarterback. He's not the savior of the Giants that people thought he might be. But the fact of the matter is, we talk about if we're going to bring in a veteran quarterback, it might as well be one of those guys who's like, a credible guy who's played on the field before. He's not Bean, for instance. He's actually seen the field. He's actually played NFL defenses, even though he was pretty trash. We know he's not a QB1 guy. If you pay that guy next to nothing, a veteran minimum, and come in as a backup, he's athletic. He's played before. He's got experience. I don't necessarily hate it. It doesn't really bother me, no.
I think the whole quarterback thing is stupid, dude.
I do too. But that's why I just it doesn't bother me if it's Daniel Jones.
I really have this much interest in quarterback. We got a guy that we drafted 4th overall, dude. I don't give a
run
fuck
with him.
how he played. The Giants were dumb enough to stick with Daniel Jones. I want the Colts to be dumb enough to stick with Anthony Richardson. Just if he sucks after year 4 or 5, don't fucking pay the guy $40 million. That's the only
thing that's where they fucked up.
That I wouldn't do that the Giants did. But I personally have this much interest in quarterback. I really don't care. Anthony Richardson has had to listen to fans, the media, everybody say that he's not ready, he's not good. They're looking for competition, blah, 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 blah. If he doesn't come ready, then I don't know what else will force him to be ready. Yeah. And if he stinks it up, guess what? We're getting top.
We have our answer. We have our answer.
So, got no interest in it. And it was also brought to my attention that, hey, guess what? If the Colts brought in Daniel Jones, we would literally have the worst quarterback tandem as far as passing goes in NFL history in the room at one point.
Run the ball, baby.
So, I mean, people want to pick up this competition. Why would if Anthony Richardson is so bad, why would you pick up competition for a poor player? You would want to bring in somebody better. So I'm not interested in it. I do not care. Anthony Richardson, just go prove people right or prove people wrong, dog.
I don't care if Jones holds the clipboard or if it's Jason Bean or if it's damn Joe Flacco again. I don't give a damn. But Anthony Richardson better be out there playing. And if he's not, then we have our answer.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not with none of it. Zach, you have any more there? You look like you want to say something, but you look like you kind of don't.
I mean, I think Daniel Jones is going to end up in Indy. I 100% do. I felt that way when I first said it. Just the similarities. But I agree. AR needs to be your starter. AR needs to be the guy, and he needs to play the entire year. And then if we suck, like DeMarco said, we're guaranteed a top pick. When his contract ends, after this season, you don't have to re-sign him to his 5th-year option. You can move on after year 4. He'll make someone a nice athletic backup, and the Colts can turn the page on AR. It is what it is. It's a clean break. You had your opportunity, so there's now your next situation. There's no pressure. Maybe you can go there and blossom. But I just think that Daniel Jones I only do that because it's interesting. I mean, it's a cool narrative, and for me, that's the only reason why you push this stuff in the offseason is the narrative, because what happens on the field is the only thing the players can control. So offseason is for narratives, and having Daniel Jones as a backup creates that fun. There's a QB competition.
Are they going to put him in? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm all for that, because in the offseason, any press and media in Indy is good press and media. So
at least they know we exist, I guess.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
I personally, we need a backup anyway, so I wouldn't be totally mad.
Just don't pay him, for God's sake. Do not.
As long as we pay the backup quarterback less than $3 million and less, then I'm totally fine with it. It is what it is.
Bring back Carson Wentz. I don't give a damn.
Wow.
I don't care, bro.
I don't think Irsay let that happen, bro.
No, he wouldn't.
That's just there for me. Chad said, but would you rather have a solid pass / run blocking tight end or a short route receiving tight end?
Receiver.
No, I don't want either. I want everything.
Well, yes,
tight end that we don't have to change our entire operation for because they come into the game.
Hey,
Like this is one of the reasons.
There's a dude at Penn State who does that. Tyler Warren. He does everything.
Before the reports came out about Michael Mayer kind of having some issues with wanting to stay on the field for mental or whatever reasons, just football's not all that important, blah, 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 all that stuff. He was my guy. I would have traded that third, fourth round pick or whatever for Michael Mayer. So, but after that, it's like, I want a guy that can just stay on the field. That's why I'm really high on Mason Taylor. If we don't take a first-round tight end and we go defense, I love what Mason Taylor can do. I think he would be a great fit. I think he's a really good blocker in the run game. I think he's a decent pass catcher who wasn't totally used a lot at LSU. I think this guy can
past year.
Yeah, I just think he's a guy that can really do everything we need, whether that's blocking and receiving the ball. So I'm really high on Mason Taylor. So
that tight end from Texas.
I want a guy who can do it all. That's where I'm at.
Gunnar Helm, that kid from Texas, is another guy I really like. I wouldn't be mad. I mean, if we go defense, yeah, and we got a guy like Mason Taylor or Gunnar Helm, you would not hear me complain. Like, both them dudes are studs.
Yeah, I think too. Like, obviously, you want a tight end that can do both, but I've rang the bell on this for a while now. I feel like in that having a short route option, I call it like a bailout option for a mobile quarterback when they have to scramble and to get away and just have an easy pass option. Who's a tight end, just running a quick out or running something easy that is almost always open because he's covered by a slow ass linebacker. That makes such a huge difference. You look at what Mahomes has obviously done with Kelsey, where they had this legendary connection. You look at Lamar with Mark Andrews. You look at Jaden Daniels with Mason Taylor when they were at LSU. Any kind of mobile quarterback having that escapability and having that easy option whenever there is pressure and to have that bailout, that is so helpful. And we have not had that for Anthony Richardson. We have a couple of tight ends who have stones for hands that drop everything that's fucking thrown at them. So I think bringing in a guy like Tyler Warren, like Gunnar Helm, like Mason Taylor, who I'm a big fan of, obviously, that could be literally, I'm not even trying to exaggerate. I think it could change the whole offense because now instead of seeing drops and constant third and long and whatever, anytime he has to roll out and make something happen, which is what Richardson is good at, now he has that easy option. So he doesn't just have to chuck it deep to Alec Pierce and pray to God he makes a highlight. You know, he's got that easy bailout option. So I really, really hope we have a home run pick there.
Yeah. I just don't want it to where it is like this glaring switch up at tight end. We got to stop that crap.
100%.
Chad threw in another scenario in there, swapping first round picks and throwing in Trey Hendrickson. I don't know how much that really matters to the Bengals, but I mean, we've I just would like it to where we can get some money off the books if we're going to do that, because I don't want to spend all of our cap on one player on defense, and then we basically just put Lou in the exact same situation he was in last year with the Bengals.
Right. Thoughts on trading back, because I think this is a good year
to
do that.
Not okay. Only way I'm trading back is if Tyler Warren's gone, the safeties that we want are gone, et cetera, et cetera. Then I'm okay with trading back for a guy like Jahdae Barron.
Just because
one of those other cornerdbacks. But
DeMarcus
if Tyler Warren is there, you just take him and you don't think twice about it.
100%. I completely agree. But I look at it like, hey, if Warren's gone, the defensive depth in this draft is so deep. Why don't you trade from 14th and move back to 20-something? Pick up another pick, another couple picks, and then add to, then you could add defensively or add offensively.
We can. I mean, my answer on this is always the same every year, in just that it depends who's there, right? If guys who you feel like are game changers are no longer there, and it's a bunch of B+ players, then you trade back, you get you a B player, and then a couple more C+ whatever players, whatever, you get depth. But that's not the draft I want, man. I want a game changer.
No one wants that. I just think that's exactly could be a very realistic scenario happening this year, because Warren could be a top 10 pick. I mean, after Bowers going at 11 or wherever the hell he went, I'm not going to be surprised to see him go in the top 10. And if he's off the board, then in my opinion, the next thing I want the Colts to do is trade back, because there's nobody there at 14. Offensively, I believe it's worth a crap. And defensively, I believe that there's so much depth at the spots that the Colts need as safety and corner that they can move down and still get their guy and get a couple extra picks along the way.
I just disagree.
The only guy that I want
don't
at
think there's-
14 is Warren. Like
I don't
beyond
think there's
that,
13 players. I don't think there's 13 players that are going to be gone before the fact that I could say trade back. There's a lot of talent that I would take at 14, regardless of Tyler Warren. I love the idea of Tyler Warren. I think it would immediately fix our tight end room with everything we need. He'd be a player that I wouldn't necessarily want to say elite, just because I don't want to overrate somebody. But I think it would immediately give us the fix. The problem is our defense is terrible. I'm not trading back. Like they're like Trev just said, Jahdae Barron, he's a riser on many people's board. Will Johnson, if he can make it to 14. There's Malachi Starks, Nick Emanwari. I love him out of South Carolina. He's really risen up on my board. I mean, this guy is an athletic monster, and he's not just the guy on the RAS score sheet this time. He actually has the production and the ability to show. Like he played on an elite defense at South Carolina. There's just many players on this board that I would love to take. I am totally against. Like Trev was just describing it as we could trade back and get a B player and add some more picks. We've been doing that for years, and that's why we've been fucking mid, because it's never premium. Get premium. This is why I love, like, Latu just dropped a video. He's over working at Sac State, where his old workout coach just got hired. He went to this guy's fucking school and kept working out. Like, I love that we went premium there. Like, I think Latu
is gonna pay off.
Like last year, maybe he got slighted a little bit by not getting the snap counts. And some people wanted to call him a bust, even though his numbers were very similar to what Jared Verse was able to do. I think that he can kick it up to another level if he's actually on the field. He works on some of his moves, switching them up and stuff like that. You add another elite defensive player, whether it be a corner, safety or whatever. Like if we went our first two picks being defensive, like you had said before, Zach, I know I convinced you to Tyler Warren. I'm just saying that everything is open to us is really what I mean. Because if we went our first two picks defensive, I feel like a Mason Taylor, a Gunnar Helm, well, I don't think Loveland is going to make it to the third round.
His first round pick.
But one of those guys, or I'm forgetting dude's name out of Bowling Green, Fannin. I think one of those guys will be in the third or fourth round to where we can still get a solid tight end that can play all around. Now, will they possibly be elite like Tyler Warren? No. But I don't think you need an elite tight end. I just think you need a good one. So
you need an option that's not going to drop.
I just think there's so many places that we can go at 14. I see no reason to trade back. I just the idea of trading back literally destroys me inside.
Well,
I feel that.
I think too. There's just. I think to me, there's a couple names that are can't miss players at 14, right? And that's Nick Emanwari, Malachi Starks, Tyler Warren, and then maybe like Will Johnson if he falls, but I think he goes earlier. But the fact of the matter, I believe, is one of those guys will be there at 14. I think it's very unlikely all four of those are gone before we get to pick, right?
Sure.
Because you got Travis Hunter's going, you got 2, maybe 3 quarterbacks going, you got a couple tackles going, a couple edges, whatever. Like, there's no way our 3 or 4 big names that we have highlighted saying this is a game changer at 14.
Right.
There's no way all of them are gone at that point. So that's why I'm like, I don't think we need to trade back. I think we can get an A player at that pick. You know what I mean?
For sure. I completely agree. That's, again, my first option. I went on the podcast the last time I was on last week or the week before last or whenever it was, where I literally said, if the Colts don't take Warren at 14, they have fumbled this draft. Like that's what I believe. Like I believe because of how good Warren is, just in his ability and everything off his tape, he's that type of franchise tight end. He's in not necessarily the Bowers was coming out, but he's in that echelon of tight end. And I look at that and say, you draft him, you take him, cool. But if he's not there, what do you do? And I believe, Warren is that highly of a prospect.
Sure.
And then I just don't believe, I believe everyone else is so close underneath it that the Colts could add a couple picks and trade back. and
Yeah.
still get one of those other guys like a Jadot. Per example, if they're at 14 and they trade back to 17, part
Not
of
the end of the world. Yeah.
yeah, part of the Hendrickson trade I wouldn't be mad. I mean, hell, I believe the Colts could go from 14 to 21, add 2 2s and a 3, and I believe, because how close those players are outside of Warren. I believe Warren's one of only 4 true franchise changers in this draft. I believe he has that Travis Kelce type of ability. And so if you pass on him, or he gets drafted, right, if he gets drafted ahead of you, you're going to feel it. But I believe everything else is so close that it wouldn't shock me to see the Colts move down because the guys are so close. That's where I'm at with it. Outside of Warren, my second favorite prospect in this entire draft is Will Johnson, the cornerback out of Michigan. So if he's there and he's available at 14 and Warren's not, that's the guy you make.
I agree.
You take him at 14 and we're happy and we're peachy. But as a fan, it's Warren or bust. And then if you move back, I would be deflated, but I'd want to see, as long as the Colts still have a first round pick. As long as they're not moving back into the second round,
might be
keep it first, right? Then I'll be upset, but keep it first. But I don't want to see the Colts go from 14 to, hey, we went from 14 to the second round pick and took Rock Ya-Sin. Like, what are we doing?
It's not that time for the franchise anymore.
Right, that's what I don't want to see. But I look at it, I'm seeing more and more mock drafts where it has the Colts trading back, and teams are calling and moving up and getting offensive linemen, getting defensive linemen, and the Colts are still able to get their secondary pieces later on in the first and early in the second round. And I think that that's a real possibility because those are the biggest needs for the Colts secondary, being available and able for them to do.
Yeah, only way I'm trading back is if we get a pick in the 20s and a pick in the 30s.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
That's
totally fair.
That's the only way I'm doing it, and I don't think anybody has those kind of picks.
Outside of Tennessee, but they're not going to trade within the division.
No, hell no.
Nah, Tennessee, I mean,
those picks are tainted anyways. I don't want them.
They're in a bunch of war right now.
I think they're going to trade that pick to the Giants, though. Like, the Giants, from what I've read, want Shedeur Sanders so much.
It's going to be crazy if they trade that pick to the Giants. The kind of haul that they're about to get. Like, they're going to hold the Giants for like 3 years.
As you should. You should.
If the Giants wanted Shedeur so bad, they shouldn't have hung 45 on us. All right, I don't want to hear it.
But I was just
they wanted to have their moment. Now they don't get Shedeur.
I was reading that the Giants are mad interested in the first overall pick.
They should have hung 45, bro. They should have let off the gas like we did against Minnesota a couple years ago.
With Shedeur Sanders,
we tanked the right way.
And all that stuff with Shedeur Sanders is legit. So I look at it like, hey, the Giants might actually trade with Tennessee because Tennessee has that bad boy up for sale because there's no generational player that they're talking about. Because I believe you can get, Travis Hunter, you can get him at pick 6, maybe pick. So. I think you can get, as long as you get in front of Jacksonville the farthest he'll fall. So as long as you get in front of Jacksonville and stay in front of Jacksonville, yeah, you can have Hunter because Hunter's a wide receiver 3, a wide receiver 4 in the NFL, and he's the best shutdown corner coming out. So, that's what I believe. Like, beyond that, he's not worthy of a top 10. He's not worthy of a top pick. To me, the only top pick in this draft is Cam Ward. If I have to pick a quarterback, I'm taking Cam Ward 1, Shedeur Sanders 2.
Sure.
But I just look at it like the Giants have fallen in love with Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders wants to be a Giant, throwing balls to Malik Neighbors. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Fully expect the Giants to try and move up and get him at 100%.
You fine with me? I don't want to play that guy. I think he's a little overhyped, but I don't want to play him.
I mean, when your dad is Coach Prime, you're going to get probably some unnecessary hype.
I don't want to see the Titans.
Sanders is really good. I like Sanders.
I do too. He's crazy.
Oh, he's very talented. He's very talented. I think because of the name, he got a little overhyped is all. But he's a great player, obviously.
Yeah, I have the only player in this draft that I truly despise, and I want him to suck for so bad, because his comments, that tackle from LSU.
Will Campbell?
Yeah, dude.
What you got against him?
Like his film is good, but like his whole attitude, I just don't like. He just rubbed me the wrong way in a pre-draft interview.
I mean, that's LSU, to be honest.
It's got to be. It must be that LSU swagger. Like I believe I'm the greatest thing in the since sliced bread, which he very well might be. But I wasn't mad when they said he had short arms. I was like, dude's a guard. Get out of here.
I think he's gonna be really good, man.
And he'll end up in England.
But I'm a fan, so yeah.
Yeah, Dad said another repeat of Ballard doing nothing.
Basically.
I hope.
What
not,
up,
man.
Sean?
Really
Appreciate you coming in. Ash, we're not gonna do the Bean, man. Bean, he not.
He's an athlete. He's an athlete. Good for him. I mean, come on.
Tank for
I don't
Arch.
think he's an NFL quarterback.
He also tank for Arch. I don't want to tank for no player I've not seen play. He hasn't played any real football. We got people got to stop the Arch stuff. Colts fans go crazy for that stuff.
Well, that's a Bengals fan, but yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm saying that Colts fans go crazy over
because of his last name.
Because his last name, he's a Manning. I'm like, I'm not taking for a guy that I haven't seen play. There's way more freshmen that have played more than him.
If there's a quarterback that I want the Colts to take this year in the draft, it's that Tyler Shrout kid from Louisville. He's 20. He's 25.
That's my guy. That's the guy that I wanted the Colts to draft.
But his tape is legit, and he played for a coach at Brom who was at Purdue, and AOC Aiden O'Connell isn't half bad in the pros. So I think Shrout would be an interesting quarterback prospect. If the Colts draft a quarterback, he's the one that I've come around to really, really like from Louisville because he can do a little bit of everything. He's intriguing, really intriguing.
I'd take him as a 5th round pick. We can get him to be the backup. I like it.
He's a developmental guy, but
I'm not against the 5th. Anything after the 5th round, I'm not against taking, a winger on a guy like a quarterback or like a whatever.
I have no problem taking him in the 3rd if he's there.
Oh, hold on.
If the Colts
we got bigger needs than that.
If the Colts are convicted and say, "Hey,
he's that good,"
yeah, bro, yeah.
Tyler, what's his last name? Tyler Shrout.
He started at Oregon.
I recognize the name, but I didn't watch Louisville at all.
Then transferred and ended up at Louisville. And if the Colts are convicted, they need to take him in the 3rd because I think old boy is just a taller Drew Brees, bro. Just a tall Drew Brees.
Come on.
Just a tall Drew Brees. 6'4", accurate as crap.
Take it.
In the 3rd round.
Bro, if they're convicted. I'd take him. I'd take him in the 3rd.
That's true.
Tyler
Zach
Shrout
loves to hear all this panic that we got for QB competition.
Bro, you don't understand. Like
eyebrow raised at quarterback every day.
If you're convicted, like if the Colts are convicted about a guy, I want them to take it. If they reach for a guy, but they feel he's going to be legit and it pays off, fine with it. If he's a bust, okay, Ballard don't hit on nothing but late round picks anyway. So, like, what are we concerned with? Like, that's just how I look at it. Like, if you're convicted about a guy,
the fact that Ballard doesn't need any more quarterbacks. He don't need no more say at it, no more picks at it.
I'd rather take that than Daniel Jones, if I'm 100% honest. So
I'm not against taking a guy, but you're talking 3rd round. I mean, come on, bro.
I just want the Colts to be okay with the conviction. If the conviction is, hey, he's the best player on our board, and it just so happens to be around 3, freaking take him, bro, regardless of position.
I don't think he's going to go there. But,
that's where I'm at with it. Like, for me, but yes, DeMarco's right. I love to see chaos and panic. It's like within the fan base, I love it. Love it. I love distributing. It's like, finishing salt on top of the steak when you're done. I love just sprinkling it right on top and getting people's opinions and getting people's all riled up. Love it. I live for it. It's my favorite.
hilarious.
Jackson Dart from Ole Miss, Dad.
He's gone.
Chad is saying that that's what he was thinking about Latu having Hendricks in there for a few seasons.
Could be really good.
Could
be really good.
It's certainly possible.
What up, Nathan? Just now seeing you come in here. He says, "Hear me out. Bringing in Hendricks in that front seven will be elite and get pressure on the QBs." So hear me out. The Bengals just had him, and they had one of the worst defenses ever.
Well,
So I mean,
because
like,
the
and
Good point.
yeah,
we
but
have
that's
to
because the
think
GM
a
didn't
lot
put
of
nothing
things.
around him.
It's not going to be just him.
But
Yeah.
yeah, the counter argument, Zach, is what are we putting around him too? You know,
Yeah,
DeForest
like-
Buckner
Who?
and
Henderson? DeForest Buckner, Grover. I mean, Latu. We got some dogs. More. Our front seven was better without
but
Henderson than
just
it was
overall
with.
defense, we
Right.
weren't that much better than Cincinnati.
He had
I'm
17
saying that's
sacks.
my counter argument to that.
For sure. But you got to do with the pieces we have on top of that. It's kind of hard to argue with Nathan's statement. I think our front seven would be elite if you had a dude like Hendrickson.
I'm
He,
with
With
you.
the
he led
pieces
the
we have
NFL
around
with
it.
17 sacks, but I
Yeah.
don't think that makes our defense elite.
Hey, so I'm just looking at these backup D tackles because, that's what we need. Would you guys take a dude like Javon Kinlaw to be a rotational piece
Absolutely.
instead
No,
of
no,
Roquan,
no.
instead
No,
of
I
like
was thinking,
Roquan Davis?
I was thinking Javon Hargraves is who I was thinking of.
Oh, he's out there, but I don't
I'd take
think Cole.
Kinlaw. I'd take Kinlaw.
I mean,
As
that
long
would be a
as-
full circle moment. That's the dude that we traded Buckner for to
yeah.
draft.
Be kind
And
of
he comes
ironic.
back Yeah, he comes to Indy. Like, I mean, I would take a guy like Kinlaw.
To be honest
Mhm.
with you, if he was cheaper, I would have kept Raekwon Davis, but I don't want to pay him $7 million to do nothing.
Because I feel like if you draft Hart, if you take a dude like Javon Harlan, like DeMarco said, he's going to want to start. And so then are you going to Buckner and saying, bro, you're not going to be our starting 3-tech. Now you're going to be a rotational piece because you're
Javon
31 years old.
absolutely not.
Hargraves is coming off a torn quadricep. Like he got to understand, like you're getting up there in age. You just got paid. Come in and rotate with DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart. It's not about starting. This is.
You think he would do that though?
Yeah, because those guys don't want to. They want to play around 60, maybe 70% of the snaps. So
I feel you.
that's a really good rotation to be able to go from DeForest Buckner and
Yeah, that's elite.
Hargraves and or Grover and Hargraves.
I want Milton Williams,
That's
He said, who
really
knows?
good for them.
dude from Philadelphia, one of the D tackles besides Fatty
Oh,
Carter. He was.
First of all, I'll take
He was a
anybody
nice
from
dude.
Philadelphia.
Me
after what
too.
they did.
Me too.
I'll
I
take
want
anybody.
I want Milton Williams, and I would prefer Josh Sweat. I think you could get him for a relatively decent price, but
No,
Josh
DeMarco's
West,
like,
Josh
no,
West-
no, no, no.
Josh West is about to command major money for his
You
8
think
sacks.
he's gonna get paid? Like
Yeah.
big boy broken off
Yeah.
off of one game,
Yeah,
Well, off of what he's done in general, but that one game didn't hurt.
bro. He didn't do shit until that Super Bowl. Like you'd be like,
Yeah.
who?
that's what I was telling people, Zach. That's why I said he's about to get paid for his 8 sacks that he had this last year.
For one game? That's
But
ridiculous.
but just to go back to the defensive tackles, bro, I think anybody coming in will have the understanding that hey, you are a rotational piece. Like you're not taking any. Well, try to take their job. But
it doesn't.
We're talking.
None of that matters about the rotational and all of that. If you were a defensive tackle, I want to play less snaps, so it's less wear and tear
Right.
on
It
me.
prolongs my career.
That's what I'm saying.
Chase-
Yeah, that's why you look at probably one of these older guys. Like this
I mean,
is a
like,
position
look,
I could see assigning a vet
If
for.
I think about it as a
relatively
rotational, I'm not even saying like, oh, I can start or I got to back up this guy. Blah, blah. I'm rotating
cheap.
with 2 defensive tackles that have been
Who
top
are
in the
all
league,
pro level,
which is
Chase
just going
Young's
to
out there.
So if we can all stay healthy, then we just going to be
Yeah.
that much more elite.
Give me that dude. Chase Young's out there. DeMarcus Lawrence is available.
I don't know about DeMarcus Lawrence. He's been kind of.
I mean, I get it. He's old, but I still take a shot on it.
yeah, but he's been dealing with some injuries every year. Like, you going to pay that guy and possibly.
Peyton Turner is available from New Orleans. He's
right?
he's another dude
All
that
right,
I
he's
have.
all
Sir, Tyshawn Wharton from Kansas
I-
City. He's a
I totally
dog.
get it. Takes pressure off your back end, Nathan. But if your DBs are struggling to cover, it's
not gonna
really
matter.
not going to matter. Like
Yeah.
he'll be grabbing a hold of the quarterback, and then you get a receiver wide open. I just think we need to fix this secondary. We need to learn to start matching
No.
our pass rush with our secondary.
Here's
Yeah, we
here's my thought, just because it came to me. In free agency, this is how I look at it. If the Colts made 2 moves in free agency this year, it's successful no matter what. If they go out and get Tre'Davious Ward, so they bring him in, he gets signed. And you sign Holland, and those are the only 2 big moves that the Colts made in free agency this year. I would
Who was the first one?
Tre'Davious Ward They go out and get Tre'Davious Ward and they go sign Javon Holland. I wouldn't be mad if they.
That's
if
exactly
those
what I want to happen.
me too. It
You
won't
saying
because
just
they
that,
never.
just that,
Yeah,
nothing else.
and those were the only two big moves they made, and then everybody
okay.
else was, "We'll
I'm okay.
resign you as a 1-year deal. We'll resign, or they draft." Like that's the two moves they make. They go get Holland, they go get Ward, and then every other spot they draft. I'm perfectly okay. Like to me, that's a successful offseason for the Colts. I'm not mad. If
and
those
I'll
are
tell
the
you-
only two moves they
That's why I keep telling people like we don't need a whole lot. Like a lot of people because Jim Irsay put that thing out and I said like show me you're gonna do something. Like it doesn't have to be a lot. Just show me you're willing to do something to say we're trying to fix this team and make it better. So if you did that, you bring in those two type of guys.
That's
that
all I need.
Immediately upgrades your secondary. Then you got competition for the other side at corner, which guess what? You can still pick or choose what you want in the draft at that point, whether you can go, oh, Tyler Warren doesn't make it to us, or he does, we can go tight end, or if not, we can take the best corner available. Guess what? Now you got Charvarius Ward on one side with Javon Hollins behind him. Then you got Nick Cross on one side, depending on how Lou wants to play him or whatever. And then you got
in the slot.
and then you got three guys. You got Juju, you got Jones, and you got whatever rookie you decide to draft to compete for corner two. How does not everybody get better immediately? And then you got the rest of the draft to upgrade defensive line or linebacker, whatever. You can go best available for the rest of the draft and actually make the team better.
To me, the offseason is literally two moves. It is you do whatever it takes to sign Tre'Davious Ward, and you do whatever it takes to sign Holland. And as long as those moves are made, in my opinion, the Colts won the offseason. They don't have to do anything else. You can fill every other spot with rookies, and I will be completely, totally satisfied.
It could be so easy.
Those players will be my biggest ones, right? Like I love the names you're throwing out there, but that's not players on that level, right? You could bring in a different safety, you could bring in a different corner as long as they're like that type of player. But I like what both of y'all said about like we don't need much because we genuinely don't. It's just the matter of what we need is so important, and it's such a hole right now that it killed us all year. So it's like you could really just do that, just sign 2 or 3 guys. We don't have to have some damn overhaul where you're signing 10 different players. Bring in a couple dudes, draft a couple dudes, and we'll believe you. We'll be there like, hey, you intend to win. Like, that's really
right. You made the offseason commitment. Like, it doesn't have to be Tre'Davious Ward. It can be DJ Reader or DJ Reed or whatever the hell it is.
I don't like your dad today, Zach.
My dad's trolling because I said he wouldn't get much for Hendrickson. Like, he's probably upset that Hendrickson leaving Cincinnati. Like,
no. But the crazy part is like he's absolutely right.
No, this is like, that ain't
like
my
Ballard will probably sign.
Come on, man.
Will probably sign some backup. He'll probably sign some backup quarterback and some 8th string defensive tackle that we've never heard of before, and that'll be the rest of our free agency.
I mean, Ballard did that when we signed Autry, and we're like, who's this dude? So, like, yeah, but we better not sign, Matt Gay to another $44 million contract, whatever the hell he is.
I'm bringing a different kicker, bro. I'm tired of Gay. I really am.
I mean, he's ain't terrible. So, like, corner, you got DJ Reed available. I wouldn't be mad if we went and got him. Byron Murphy, he's available. I wouldn't be mad at that. And then after that, it's just
Murphy, but Murphy's going to command a lot of money, dude.
There's the only other name I'm interested in is Eric Stokes from Green Bay.
I'd take him too.
And that just because I don't know.
He's still young.
A linebacker that's been injured. Right. He's still young. He's 25. That's the thing. Like he's
played
a
well.
Guppy out there. Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at those. I need
those are the only
play.
I look at Louis Anarumo and you talk about giving him pieces. Bro, why don't you go out and sign Isaiah Simmons and give him a piece? The linebacker / DB or whatever it was, who was a Cardinal.
I feel like we have a guy like that in Carlisle. I feel like we have a guy like that in Carlisle where I want to let Carlisle play.
Just something cheap. Just something cheap, just as a depth piece. Because I'm starting Carlisle. Like Carlisle is starting, but I look at it like guys with versatility, position versatility, and he can play DB, he can play safety, he played linebacker. So I look at it like, why not? You didn't even have to start.
That's good.
He's just another piece. because dudes like Luke Wilson aren't out there, which he's a guy
but
from Cincinnati.
what's-
He's a guy
what's
from
the
Cincinnati who
one-
I would love to have.
But what's
What?
the one piece we know we don't have to question Ballard on?
Linebackers.
Well, is he a linebacker though? Linebacker, deep running back.
So I don't
Hmm.
want him to sign no linebacker. He can find one in the
You
draft.
just keep,
Like,
yeah,
just-
drafting your
just
damn
draft
random
one
ass
and we know
linebackers.
we'll kind of be okay.
And I'll know he's gonna play special teams for 2 years, and then he's gonna be an all-pro linebacker.
Yeah,
It's
like-
all good. It's all
Quick
good.
question:
As
Is
long as he
Asante-
doesn't start a fucking podcast, he'll be good.
Is Asante Samuel Jr. worth a shit? Because he's a
Oh,
free agent
so his-
also.
his play kind of got better, but I think he's dealt with some injuries. But I think he's a solid player. He's also another name that I
A
wouldn't
guy
mind.
that- I really like, but I don't see him here. Is that Isaac Yakum or whatever the heck his name is? Isaac Yodom played in Sanford. No, that's Paulson Adobo or whatever the heck his name is.
a lot of people like that guy,
Bro, he's a stud. Played for New Orleans.
Debo.
Paulson Adibo, whatever
Very
it
good
is.
player.
He's-
I'm
I
a
think
fan of his.
he's a-
I think if
he's a
Ballard signs a player
stud.
coming off injury, people will lose their mind.
Bro, that's like 95% of the NFL though.
I mean, I'm just saying what people will think. I also
Hey.
Nick Bolton is out there as a free agent as well.
We can get your boy Marco Wilson from Florida. He was with Cincinnati
No,
this year.
hell
I mean,
Hell
bro,
no.
he ain't that
Hell
bad,
no.
is he?
He's that
No.
bad. He is that bad.
For
Hey.
real, he was a dog in Florida. That's why
Was
I'm
he,
saying
bro? Was he? Because he single-handedly gifted the Tigers a win.
he threw that
In this
goddamn
one.
shoe. He threw
Thank
that goddamn
you.
shoe, and he
Thank
ruined
you.
everything for us.
that. Are you for real?
Marco Wilson is ass, bro. Burnt toast. All he's good at is throwing cleats and giving away free yardage.
You guys are
The
mean,
LSU
man.
Tigers.
He threw that
Damn.
shoe and ruined our entire history.
And I
Damn.
thank him for it. What a guy. What a guy.
Oh, you guys are
And
mean.
they
I just
gave
looking like,
Mike
yo, hey.
Gesicki, 3-year, $25 million.
I'm gonna say that he got signed a big boy contract, and I
For
thought
no
he would be a
damn
better.
reason.
Hey,
For
did
no
you guys
damn
know
reason.
EJ was 29?
Huh?
Who?
EJ
EJ
Speed.
who?
EJ
Yeah,
Speed.
bro's crusty. He was like
Yeah,
27
get
when he
him
was in the league.
I
He's like
didn't
a
know.
35-year-old grown man.
Time to move on.
Elijah Molden, he signed a 3-year, $18 million deal to re-sign with Chargers,
That's a good pick.
and he's only 26, so that could
Wait.
be a good deal
Time
for
out.
us right there.
Wasn't he with the?
Trevor Moehrig? He's a
Yeah.
25-year-old safety from the Raiders.
Moehrig? Yeah,
And
Trayvon
that's-
Moehrig.
That could be a good deal for us
Another good
there.
player.
Trayvon Moehrig from TCU. Yeah, dude's dog.
Yeah, that could be a good deal for us.
Wasn't
I said,
Molden the dude that-
Debo-
That Pittman Jr. burnt 2 years ago with Minshew. Did Tennessee let him go?
Who's that?
Talanoa Hufanga is also a free agent from the 49ers.
But he's hurt
I
all
like
the
him,
time.
too. No, I like him when he's on the field, though.
But he's hurt all the damn time.
That was our whole team,
a
man.
ton. But
Hey, that wouldn't be a bad deal for Asante Samuel Jr. He's 25 years old.
I'm saying he's young. That's what I look at these
Either way.
guys and
Either way, because I
Man.
have to hop off, so I'll leave it with this. But either way, man, I like what you said earlier about just give me a guy like Ward, give me a guy like Holland, bring in just 2, maybe 3 secondary pieces. You have my faith, you have my backing as a fan, bro. But I just
There's
have to hop
too
off.
much-
So I just want to say, go Colts! Appreciate y'all, boys. Good to be back on here and everything, man.
So appreciate you, Trey.
All right, boys.
Yeah, I just think there's too much to not do nothing. Like we just rattled off a ton of corners, safeties.
right.
There's just so much in this free agency class to not upgrade at all. So I just think it'd be too hard for Ballard to sit on his hands for what he's done this entire time. I think we just can't be that crazy to leave it again.
Yeah, moves need to be made, but I just don't know. I mean, when your owner says, yes, we have to earn it, we have to, go out and prove to you that we're serious about winning, we've fallen off the rails. Listen, Irsay, I appreciate the honesty, but the man you have in charge has proven he's consistently Mr. Do Nothing. Bro's all talk and no action. Like, that's what Ballard is. That's who Ballard is. So until you get serious about winning, and you literally tell him, yo, hey, like, and not fix it. Like, the expectation is playoff or bust, and your job is dependent on playoff or bust. So if we're not in the playoffs, that office needs to stay packed 24/7. Like, get them boxes out, put everything in them boxes, and if we're not a playoff team at the end of this year, it's time to go. Like Balor's talking about, I need to see production and competitiveness from everybody. Irsay needs to have, should have, and hopefully has had that same conversation with Ballard. Like, Mr. Ballard, all your personal belongings need to go in a cardboard box. They need to stay there. Understand that if the Colts do not win this year, and I'm talking, I just don't want the playoffs. I want a division title. For me, if I'm owning the Colts, it's division title and playoffs hand in hand. If you're not winning the division, if you're not getting in the playoffs, you're not having a job. Because this is, in my opinion, 2 years too long for Ballard. Ballard's been here 2 years too long.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally with you. I'm totally with you that he's been here too long. I don't know about the playoffs and stuff. I want to see a competent team, and I want to see AR get better. I don't want to see no more defenses giving up 30, 40 points, all that stuff. I want to see us stop looking like we got to be mediocre every time we play. I would like to see us finally be able to solidify the quarterback position. So do what you got to do to make sure Anthony Richardson has a defense that can get him the ball. Obviously, we got the pieces on offense outside of tight end. So we just need to show improvement there. I would love to be a playoff team, but I just want it to see it get better. And I think if Anthony Richardson can prove that he can get better and be a starting caliber quarterback, and that, that progression is there to where it's not like we're questioning quarterback anymore, I think that would save a lot of Ballard regardless of playoffs. I'm not looking to save him, but just putting that out there.
Right.
But, I just think we got to get away from looking like a mediocre team. And that's why I'm like thinking, like, if you can build an elite defense, it'll change everything. Look where we have been the last 2 years, 8-9 and 9-8 with a terrible defense. So just fix the fucking defense and everything gets better.
Yeah. I don't, everything you said, I don't disagree with. If he fixes the defense and Lou has success and AR looks competent,
I mean, like you said, at that point we should be a playoff team.
there's no need, there's no reason for us not to be a playoff team, but for whatever reason, I just think there's a disconnect. I always have. I mean, the past 2 years, for something has happened where either it doesn't flip, either the offense is trash and we fix the offense and we get a quarterback, and then the defense goes to shit where it's been, or the quarterback incompetency. And I truly feel like if we do what we're supposed to do and everything molds, 10-7, 11-6, and maybe a playoff spot. Like I said, to me, it's playoffs or bust. Like, it's got to happen this year, because if it don't happen this year, it ain't gonna happen with Ballard and the regime. And you pulled up that interesting stat. Since the Colts have been in Indianapolis, he's the third best GM that the Colts have ever had.
Yeah,
like Bill Polian's the best, followed by Ryan Grigson, which is not hard when you draft Andrew Luck. I mean, Andrew Luck falls in your lap, and then Chris Ballard. And I will say, Chris Ballard has probably had the hardest job as a GM.
Yeah,
because Ballard is maybe the only one that's actually taken on a full rebuild besides Irsay, and Irsay was GM for 10 years and they won 20 games when he was GM. So that'll tell you anything.
Absolutely, man. I completely agree. And I think, now that I think about it, and just putting it out there on everything that can easily be done with this team, because as much as, the media, the world, people, fans, whatever, talk about the Colts, you would think that we won 3 games this season, regardless of what Anthony Richardson, Joe Flacco, or anybody else did. And we're right there in a space to where it's like, you fix some things that are terrible about this team. Why couldn't it be better? So I think you're right in your words to say, it's playoffs are done, because
it's got to be.
Unless Anthony Richardson goes berserk and our defense is just like the Bengals last year, I don't see how you can like just keep it the same thing. So
because if AR has a 55% completion percentage this year, and that's all he needs. If he has a 55% completion percentage this year and is competent in throwing over the middle, our offense is going to look better night and day. All right, because we'll still be able to run the ball. It's going to look better night and day. And then if you just add defensively so we can stop somebody and not give up them stupid 3rd and 10s where we get you in 3rd and 10 and then we give up the corny first down over the middle like we did under Gus Bradley. Yeah, DeMarco, I see no reason why. It's got to be playoffs or bust. If it's not playoffs or bust, then what are we doing?
Then what are we doing?
Right, then blow it up. Blow it up, sell everybody off. Tell the next guy, hey, man, go move up in the draft, get your picks, build it however the hell you want. The keys are yours. But, like, we're close. We are stupid close. It's time that the Colts take it serious and get there, though. Like, it's got to be.
Can't stay mid for 3 years in a row. I mean,
well, that's the problem. When you live in the world of mid, you stay mid. Like, you're blinded by the mid. Like, you don't have that outlook, and that's part of my issue. I think Ballard's so too involved in the mid that a fresh set of eyes might be needed. That's what I'm worried about. Like, he's going to believe he did enough, and it's just not enough. Like, he's not learned.
Absolutely with you, bro. Well, I think that'll be it for it, folks. Appreciate everybody who came and checked us out on both Facebook and YouTube. Appreciate everybody coming through tonight. Can't wait to get to free agency on Monday. You know, gotta have, you know, I wouldn't say don't expect a lot, but hopefully we do make something happen and get something going for us that can make a difference. So appreciate everybody who tuned in. All y'all have a good night and a great rest of your weekend. Stay safe out there. Appreciate all you guys.
Peace.
As always, go Colts.
2nd down, he fakes the Taylor, fires over the middle, completes. Pittman